Hi guys, I hope you're good. I hope you're well and excited for our lesson today. Guys, we'll be doing something quite interesting today, which is multiplying a binomial by a trinomial. So it means two terms on one side have to multiply three other terms on the other bracket. So guys, but don't worry, I'll be taking you through it, and trust me, just grab your pen and paper and you will enjoy this lesson. All right. So the first part of our lesson today, it looks more in trying to break down what a trinomial is. And as the word itself says tri, so it means you are looking for three things. So what are we looking for? Three terms. Okay, so a trinomial is an expression with three terms. So specifically three terms. So we have an example there, which is ax squared plus bx plus c. So we need to count our terms. This is our first term, this is our second term, and that day is our third term. Okay, so ax plus bx plus c is a trinomial because it has three terms. And then now we can learn how to multiply a binomial and a trinomial. So I'll take you back on what a binomial is also. So when you have a binomial, it means now you must have two terms. So if you have a plus b, that is a binomial. Okay, so we call this a binomial. So to find the product of a binomial and a trinomial, multiply out the brackets. So we have now a method to multiply out the brackets. So if you could also guys go back to the previous lesson that we had on binomials by binomials, you have to look at the fact that we ensure that the first term multiplies the two terms that you get that side, and also the second term on the first bracket has to multiply all terms that you have on the second bracket. So the same concept applies here. This is what you have. So you're going to ensure that a as the first term needs to multiply a, it needs to multiply c, d, and e. And that is why also b needs to multiply both c, d, and e. That is why here guys, as you see on our product or on the answer that we are provided, it's written in this special form such that we need to have a product of both AC, AD, and AE. The same thing happens here, that you need to also multiply B and C, B and D, and also B and E. So it means everything needs to be multiplied out. However guys, now I want to be more specific with you on how you are going to be tested on such problems. So this is what you have here. Let's look at the worked example number 1. So our first example says find the product. As you can see, the first bracket is a binomial because you have two terms, and the second product is a trinomial because you have three terms. So we need to find the product of the first bracket by the second bracket. So let's rewrite the question that we have. Minus 1, that is x squared minus 2x plus 1. So our duty is to ensure that x as the first term multiplies all three values that we have on the second bracket. So it is going to be x multiplied by x squared. It is going to be x to the power of 3. And we multiply again x and negative 2x. This is going to be negative 2x squared. And x needs to also multiply the third term, which is 1. So it's x times 1, which remains as x. However, we are not done guys when things are like this, because we still have the second term. So the second term, which is negative 1, needs to also multiply the same way the first term multiplied. So this is going to be negative 1 multiplied by x squared, and it is going to be negative x squared. Negative 1 multiplied by negative 2x. So since it's negative and negative multiplying together, this is going to be a positive value. So it's going to be 2x. And we have negative 1. We also multiplied by a positive 1. It is going to be a negative 1. Okay. So one method to check if you have everything right, you need to ensure that you count to 6 terms. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 values. So we have 6 values, so it means that everything has been multiplied correct. Check your signs, make sure everything is fine. But you are not done, because after you have multiplied out everything, you need to check for like terms. Okay, we need to look for like terms. So once we find like terms, we need to add or subtract them. Okay, we need to add or subtract them. So this is what we do. Do we have any value that has x to the power of 3 in it? If we can look properly, we have x to the power of 2, x to the power of 1, x to the power of 2, x to the power of 1, and no x at all. So if we don't have any like term, we drop the value as it is. This is x to the power of 3. And again, we check again if we have anything that says x to the power of 2. Yes, I do have a value that has x to the power of 2, which is just negative x. So I have negative 2 and that negative 1, the invisible negative 1 there. So you're going to have negative 3x squared. And we are not done, guys, because every value needs to be accounted for. So x, do we have any value that just has x in it without any other exponent? Yes, we do, which is just simple 2x. So we have x plus 2x gives you plus 3x. And you can see there that we have a remainder. We can call it a remainder for now, but it is actually a constant. So we have a constant there. We simply drop the constant, which is negative 1. And what you have there is something we call the product of a binomial by a trinomial. So as they always say, the more we practice, the more close to being perfect we get. So now let's get to the second example of this. Now, it says find the product of, now you have like big numbers, okay guys? So you don't have to panic once you see yourself with such big numbers. You don't have to panic at all. So just calm down and simply follow the rules, right? So now let's just go to it. So we have 3x and 6 multiplying the other bracket with 5x squared plus 3x plus 10. Now, rewriting this whole thing, 3x plus 6, and then we also have 5x squared plus 3x plus 10. I must multiply the first term with the first term on the other bracket. So this is going to be 15x to the power of 3. And I also need to multiply the first term with the second term on the other bracket, which is going to be 3 times 3, which is a 9. And then you have x times x, which is x squared. The same 3x needs to multiply the 10 that you see there. So this is going to be 30x. Okay, so we have dealt with the first part. We now need to look for the product that 6 will give us with the other terms that we have. So 6 multiplying 5x squared, you are going to have a plus 30. So you're going to have a plus 30x squared. And multiplying the 6 again with 3x. So if you multiply 6 and 3, you're going to find yourself with 18, and it should be 18x. And lastly, you're multiplying 6 with the last term, which is 6 multiplied by 10, which gives you 60. Now, to check if you have everything correct, you count your terms. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 terms. So it means things are okay. Everything was positive. So it means also my signs are fine. Then we are good. And the most important step is also finding the like terms. Okay, so we are now working with the like terms. So any value, we need to look for any value that has x to the power of 3 in it. So if you can look at the second till the last value, you don't see anything that says x to the power of 3. So if you do not see anything that says x to the power of 3, you bring down your 15x to the power of 3 as it is. And you go to the second part, where you look for the like term of the second value. So you have 9x squared. let's look for something that says x squared next to it. So there's no x squared, but I have 30x squared. Okay, so if I have 30x squared, it means I must add the 9 and the 30 and bring back the x squared. So it means I will have plus 39x squared. And as I move on again, I look for another like term, another value that looks like 30x. So another value which is a like term of 30x is exactly 18x. So if you add 30x plus 18x, you get the sum, which is 48x. So since every value now has been covered, you are left with a constant, which is a positive 60. You bring down positive 60 as it is. And guys, beautifully there, you have what we call the product of a binomial and a trinomial. So now I'm bringing you the third example, okay? So I have one more example for you, which I would like you to attempt. And what I suggest is pause this video for a second, copy down this question that you have in front of you, and then try to solve it. And then you'll come back to this video after a few minutes to try and see if you got the right answer. So guys, I hope you've paused the video and now you're back. So now let's try to do corrections of what you've managed to work with there. So this is what you have. So as the question is given, things are fine now. We have like small numbers, so we don't have to worry about making an error. So we have x plus 2 and x squared plus 3x plus 4. So guys, don't even be scared. Even if it was 1 million, don't be scared. Just follow the rules, you'll be fine, okay? So what I have to do is multiply the first term with the first term of the other bracket. This is going to be x to the power of 3. You multiply x again with 3x, you are going to have 3x to the power of 2. And you multiply x with 4 also. This is going to be a plus 4x. The same procedure continues again, where you need to now multiply the second part. So the second part, you look for the product of 4 and x squared, the product of 2, sorry, and x squared is going to be plus 2x squared. And 2 multiplied by 3x, it is going to be plus 6x. And also 2 multiplied by 4, which is the last term there, it is going to be a 8. So once you have such a product in front of you, you are not done, because you still need to simplify further by finding the like terms. So if you find the like terms, this is what you do. You check if you have things of the same family. Do I have anything or any number that says x to the power of 3? And if you look properly, you don't have any value that says x to the power of 3. So it means you must bring down x to the power of 3 as it is. And you go to the second part, you look for any value of the family x to the power of 2. So anything that says x to the power of 2, I have found it there. So it is, I have 3x to the power of 2, and also I have 2x to the power of 2. So if you add the 2, you simply have 5x to the power of 2. And you also look for another value, or look for like terms of the family of x only without any other exponent. So we have 4x and 6x. You simply add the 2, you're going to get 10x. And lastly, you check if you have any other constant on your expression, and as you can see, we don't have any other constant, so we need to drop 8 as it is. So this is going to be plus 8. And guys, there we have our product, and that is how you find the product of a binomial and a trinomial. So guys, keep on practicing these things. You will definitely get them right. You won't struggle. If you find some difficulties, go back to all 3 examples that we did, and you'll, trust me, understand everything properly. All right. So thank you guys for joining me today, and I will see you on the next one.